Gorillaz is releasing The Mountain in about a week, and we have 5 singles so far that I have thoroughly enjoyed, so I thought why not rank them today in this video. We ranged from a lot of different type of sounds throughout the singles, and I got a lot to look forward to in terms of the album. I was of course at the live show when it happened, and I would let y'all know first that this list is subjective. If you disagree with anything, please let me know in the comments. I would like to see your personal top 5, what you think of these singles so far, because maybe I'll have a controversial opinion for you. I don't know. I feel like my opinions were pretty blind this time around, and we could go straight to number 5, and you can already guess what my number 5 would be. So we're starting off at number 5, The God of Flying, featuring The Idols. Now, I would first like to declare that all of these songs are good, okay? I don't think there's a single bad song out of all these singles, but if I had to say one I liked the least, would have to be The God of Flying. Now I have to say that the delivery by Joe Talbot is exceptional. In that music video and in general, he looks like a Far Cry character. You know what I mean? He looks like he's about to shoot you for no reason. It feels kind of he really helps set the atmosphere of the apocalypse. It feels apocalyptic. You know what I mean? This feels like a song you would maybe hear on Humans if it wasn't made during the Mountain era. I keep singing to myself the 2D chorus, you know, where he goes, "And don't you say that you think that I'm in glory." It's catchy. It's really catchy, and I really like that part. But I would have to say that not much of the instrumentation leaves me too interested. It feels like quite a mess. And one of the criticisms I would also say to that is that the song feels like it's not building up to anything. You know what I mean? We do have some cool moments, like where he goes, "Running to the exit with a huge grin on my face." I think it's sick, right? But I think, like, for example, the second verse of Joe Talbot from The Idols, I think I don't know, it sounded like too fast. That should have been a third verse. You know what I mean? We can have his first verse, which was "Pop It Off." You know what I mean? And then the second verse, it felt like a bridge, you know? It felt like a sudden bridge. I think this song would have benefited from maybe being a bit longer. I don't know. We have a lot of really long songs from The Mountain so far, but why not make that song long too at that point? You know what I mean? But despite that, I will say that I really did enjoy this track. Otherwise, I would have just wished that I wish it would have added more oomph. You know what I mean? More oomph. I really enjoyed it as well. It's not one of my favorite Gorillaz tracks, of course, but it is a good track nonetheless. And I think the Idols really did well on this one. Now, going to number 4, I'm going to have to give it to Damascus featuring Omar Souleyman and Yassine Bey. Now, I'd like to first thank you guys so much for the support for all my reaction videos, especially the Damascus ones. This is one of my most viewed videos, and I'm just starting out with this YouTube type of stuff. So what did I not like about Damascus? I think it hurts to say this, but I think the live version was obviously better. I can completely understand if you like this song as a whole, if you just like the song, because it is very Plastic Beach heavy vibes. I said that in the video, I got corrected on the comments. It was a demo from the Plastic Beach era, but thing is, if they're gonna pull a song from the Plastic Beach era, I feel like they should have done at least what they did with the live version. You know what I mean? I will keep talking about that live version, but I think the Plastic Beach one sounded too demo-y. It sounded like they just dragged the demo file and put it on here again. You know what I mean? And I will understand if you like that song, of course. Much love to you, and it is a reason why it is better than The God of Flying, which is it's just a whole sick song, to be honest. I'm a big fan of like all the instrumentation they implemented, you know what I mean? Because despite it sounding like a Plastic Beach song, they did implement a lot of Arabic type of vibes to it, you know what I mean? I don't know if Omar Souleyman was there from the beginning, from the Plastic Beach era, but Omar Souleyman was a great addition. Yassine Bey, talented as always. I love me some good Yassine Bey. Yassine Bey, great rapper, one of the greatest rappers, maybe. And alongside, they had a lot of more Arabic instruments, probably. I don't know, it's just some unsettling feeling within me I would have wished it was more so the live version. I'm hoping for one day maybe they release a bonus track remix version where it sounds a lot more like the live version. Because I would genuinely like to say that the live version is maybe... When I was at the show, I thought Damascus would be my favorite song. I was dancing like a fucking lunatic. But this doesn't sound like something I could dance to. I don't judge music based on what I could dance to, of course, but... It's just a slight disappointment in my opinion. Of course, still listen to the song, still love it, but it just doesn't help that I have this little like lingering feeling of like what it could have been. You know what I mean? But I still like the song at the end of the day. End of complaining. I enjoyed Omar Souleyman's vocals. Would have wished it was a bit more raspy, less youthful, I guess. I feel like they made it a bit more youthful. Yassine, I feel like he didn't put too much energy. It feels like a demo. That's what I was talking about earlier. It feels like a demo where it's not really that too much energy. But the instrumentation was sick. If I just didn't have the pretense of knowing that live version, I would have probably ranked this song much higher. I hope you guys can understand where I come from when I say this. On number 3, we got The Hardest Thing / Orange County featuring Tony Allen, Kara Jackson, Anushka Shankar, and Bizarre Rap. Now I've had some time to digest Orange County after the first impressions video I dropped earlier a few weeks ago. And I have to say that there are a lot of things I feel like I missed. You know what I mean? When I was listening to it at work earlier at big volume, I feel like there were so many cool hidden details in that song. You know what I mean? And also another thing I didn't really notice with the instrumentation that was clearly right in front of you during Orange County, it would be the trumpets going da-da-da, ba-ba-da-da-da. That was so sick. That was genuinely really cool. And I don't know how I didn't notice that, but wow, I think... I was really happy with how Orange County ended up aging, in my opinion. Now, I think I ended up minding less of Kara Jackson's vocals. I think she was much better live. It's just me with live music, man. I apologize. But I think it was a bit better live. I much preferred that compared to what we got in the studio version. Starting with the intro of the song as well, including the little speech quote from Tony Allen at the start. I'm a big fan of How Far from the Song Machine featuring Skepta and Tony Allen, and I think it was cool to have that part again in another song to honor Tony Allen. Tony Allen and Damon Albarn have been longtime collaborators. They've been in the same band, The Good, Bad, and the Queen. But yeah, the whole build up with the really good. Despite that, I think Orange County was a great song nonetheless, including the intro. We're putting them together because obviously they're set up to be like that. It feels more radio friendly, as I said. I just would have wished maybe they would have done something about Kara Jackson's vocals, but despite that, really love this song. Now moving on to our number 2 is The Happy Dictator featuring Sparks. Now I remember watching The Happy Dictator live and really enjoying the vibe of it as a whole, but I feel like the studio version made it actually better. Hey, look at that. I'm not saying the live version is better this time. At least I don't remember the live version that well, but I feel like this one was amazing. Because sit there with, dude, just spend the time, just sit there with your headset. If you like that song, just sit with your headset on, big volume, don't blast your ears, but sit there and just listen to that song, bro. Listen to all the small details. Listen to how great the whole song is. Because I'm a big fan of synths. I'm a big fan of kind of like not a retro vibe, but the vibe the Happy Dictator was giving, at least. You know what I mean? How Damon was duetting with the lead vocalist for Sparks. It was great, man. Like, ever since that single came out, I just had no more bad news just repeating in my head. You know what I mean? It's so catchy, that whole song, dude. And I think it's gonna be one of my favorites from the album so far. It might probably be in my total top 5, depending on how some of the other songs go, of course. But I have to say that The Happy Dictator, man, is just... I'd say it's almost a 10 out of 10 song. What else could they do, to be honest? I feel like that song is almost flawless. If you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments, because I'm trying to see like what negative can I say about that song. You know what I mean? I genuinely enjoy that song to the extreme. I don't know, maybe I should have put it in first. Who knows? But I much prefer the number one. If you already know, you know. But I have to say, Happy Dictator, great song. Sparks is a great addition. I like the duet. I like the Sims. I just liked, in addition, the I am the one to give you life again. It's so ascending, you know what I mean? I feel I'm gonna start flying out of my room. At our number one spot, we of course got the Manifesto featuring Treno and Proof. Now, it's cool to see a almost 7-minute long song still be made, you know what I mean? We love some long songs out here, you know what I mean? I'm a big fan of foreign rap, if you know what I mean. I was a big fan of Tormenta. I was a big fan of Controla from Cracker Island, and I'm happy to see more Spanish, Portuguese rap. Treno absolutely delivered, man, because every time I listen to that first verse, it's just, I feel so chill. I feel like I'm having a good time. Wouldn't wish this song came out during the summer, man, but when summertime comes around, you'll just know I'll be walking down the streets in a sunny day with these on, and I'll just have the best time of my life, you know what I mean? I'm gonna start learning that song in Spanish, you know what I mean? It's so fun. I really like that song. I really liked how the melody progresses, you know, da 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 da, la 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 la. It's so fun, and Treno bringing good vibes. I don't really understand what he's saying. Of course, I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese, but he performed that really well. But if we're gonna go on to the next part, 2D, aka Damon, the lyrics don't really make sense unless there's some deep metaphors I'm not understanding, which might be it. It feels like he's just saying stuff, but I'm loving it still, you know what I mean? I would still, the mountain sad, so the mountain cries. Thank God the better days, the mountain stays on still. Don't lose yourself. Like, what does that mean, bro? What does that mean? What is he trying to say? I still think it's fun. I would still sing along like an idiot anyways. But if we go on to the next part, the transition with the trumpets. Dun 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 dun. Love the implementation of orchestral music during this album so far. But yeah, the transition to Proof's verse, I would have wished they maybe did something different with the beat there. I think the trumpet implementations and all the little neat sounds they make, but I feel like the drum is so off-putting, you know? But I feel it's just a bit unsettling. Like, if you want to ruin the song, maybe, I don't know, just sit and listen to that Proof verse and tell me that drum suits it. You know what I mean? Tell me that drum suits it. I wouldn't say so either. I wish they would have tweaked it a little bit, but despite that, it's great to honor the late Proof. I think it's great when rappers get honored in many different ways, like in a good way. You know what I mean? Because let's say like Juice WRLD and X, they just got new albums dropping like every year. You know what I mean? Their estate, they want to milk that shit. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that Damon still had a verse from Proof in the vault and got to use it for one of the latest albums. I'm happy for that. Say like a perfect 10 out of 10 moment, bro, when Trueno starts spitting bars, dude. Yeah, ba 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 da 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 da. Ah, dude, isn't that the sickest thing you've ever heard, dude? Isn't that the sickest verse you've ever heard? And I don't even know Spanish, bro. And he's just spitting, dude. And I'm like, yeah, da da da. I don't know, bro. Something about it just makes me awfully excited. You know what I mean? I think 2D finishes off pretty well. You're not alone, you're not alone, you're not even close. I like that melody, but you're true, then you're untrue, then you're true, then like only automatic now. I think 2D was on something. I think he was on that good Indian Kush or something, bro. Because what was 2D day? I'm sorry if I mispronounced 2D, but they're day now. I've known 2D for like 10 years, so I'm trying to get better at the pronoun stuff. Hi, bro. They were just high. But otherwise, bro, great song nonetheless. Despite the flaws, I feel like all the other parts lifted up so strong. You know what I mean? I would say that Trueno basically carried this song to the top because I think he made that song a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? And it ended up being one of my top 2 songs on Spotify Wrapped last year, so that was pretty cool. Now that's gonna be it for the ranking. Let's talk about the album coming up. The album is about to come out in a week. I will be streaming it, of course, on my Twitch channel in the European time. So if you want to listen to with me, if you're from the Americas, you want to listen to it a bit earlier with me screaming over it, check it out. I'll be live on my own channel, so feel free to check that out. What I'm most excited for the album is the Black Thought verses. Now, if you believe me when I say this, when I was in queue for the Gorillaz show, the debut album show, I was talking with somebody and saying, wouldn't it be sick to have Black Thought in a Gorillaz song? You know what I mean? And he pulled up with 3 goddamn tracks. You know what I mean? He pulled up with 3 tracks. And I was like, what? That was crazy. And the verses he had, bro, was maybe some gospel. You know what I mean? It was some really good stuff. So look forward to the Black Thought verses, man. I really hope the community takes it well, because I know it's the bad apples of the community, but they take rap really bad. You know what I mean? They're like, I hate those people. Don't bring gangster rap, naked women to my music. You know what I mean? But they're not even listening to the lyrics. You know what I mean? I can't wait for the Black Thought verses. I can't wait to re-listen to some of these songs, because I think I've forgotten a lot of these songs. A lot of the songs from the concert that I remember have already been released. The eye candy released. You know what I mean? So now I will be reacting to the whole mountain, and I'll be posting it here on YouTube as well next week around the time the album comes out. So feel free to check it out. You're more than welcome to. You can tune into my Twitch whenever the album comes out, or just in general. I'm playing through Persona 5 right now. I'm playing some Overwatch. So if you want to see some of that, feel free to check that out. Feel free to comment down below what song you're most looking forward to. I've asked you to comment on a lot of things, but maybe you can comment this. What song is it the one you're most looking forward to? What is your top 5? Do you disagree with me on some of these things? You're more than welcome to say that. Feel free to like and subscribe. I really appreciate all you guys' support so far. You guys are amazing. You guys are all beautiful. I'm gonna call it here. The Mountain dropping next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much love to you guys. See ya.